The role of mastering has changed significantly over the past few decades. In the days of large analog mixing consoles, it was very difficult and time-consuming to recall a mix to improve it if it was possible at all. The sound of the mix was much more influenced by how the engineer was feeling on the day than it is now, and the mastering guru had to be a firefighter and a wizard at the same time. In the mastering, the mixes were processed with highly specialized, expensive equipment and particularly sophisticated techniques for multiband, mid-side, de-essing, stereo widening, additional reverb and much more. But pretty much everything that was done in mastering back then can now be achieved in the mixing project in the DAW without any compromises. If the sound is too muffled, you can boost the relevant frequencies of those tracks that can create more brilliance. If the song needs more depth, the reverb is used on exactly those channels that are suitable for this. In the past, the entire song ended up with more treble and more reverb in such cases. And that was a compromise, of course. Some sounds became too bright or indirect, while other instruments in the same song still sounded dull or dry. All I want to say is this: all you need for an excellent song mastering is an outstanding limiter plugin in the master bus, because a reasonable loudness is a must in most cases. Depending on the song, a bus compressor might be a good idea, but in my opinion this is more of an optional extra than an obligation. Everything else, such as depth, special dynamic processing, stereo width, sound character, balance and so on, is best done in the respective mixer channels and groups in your DAW. This means that it hardly makes sense to separate mixing and mastering nowadays, simply because you can open the mixing project at any time with a double click and optimize it precisely. But of course, there's a lot to be said for consulting a neutral listener with expertise from time to time. Sometimes the skills and tips of experienced professionals can really help you. And basically, there are no major arguments against using the mastering limiter in the stereo bus at an early stage and creatively including it as a sound shaping element. So, the most important thing is to know exactly what you want and how to achieve it in your mix. Don't be fooled by any shady promises about some super special voodoo plugins for mastering. The best way is to keep it stupid and simple, but choose your mastering limiter with great care. Our listening tests have shown that there's a lot of mediocrity and not so much quality to be found. If you want to learn more about recording, mixing and mastering, just subscribe to this channel.